Hey guys, welcome back, and we're back here with another video. And in today's video I'm going to sort of do a little bit of a recap of the last video that I posted, and we're going to also talk about today's topic, which I will definitely get into in the later part of the video. Let's just get past this Hyundai. Going a little bit too slow for my liking, and I haven't even exceeded the speed limit because we need to get over there. But anyways, if you haven't saw my last video, it was just a silent POV video. I did a little bit of commentary. Jesus Christ, that was a pretty bad pothole there, but surprisingly took it well. I thought it was going to be worse, but anyways, so I drove the 2018 Porsche 718 Cayman. Now you'll notice that I'm sort of hesitating when I'm saying the name. I actually did ask my friend about this, and I was like, do you say the number or do you say like the actual model of the car? Like, I was really confused because I'm just used to calling cars by like their name. Like, this is a Civic. Yeah, pretty much this is a Civic. You have Integra, but I never was used to a number and having a model number. But anyways, I'm not gonna debate that. The whole point is we drove what was apparently the most controversial, I guess you can say, Porsche, because it has a 2-liter engine. It is quite a base model, so like it's at the bottom. I'm not sure how Porsche ranks their stuff. I'm not sure if a Cayman is higher than a Boxster or vice versa, but when I did drive it, I will definitely say I am a little bit seasoned when it comes to Porsches. I'm not like a huge expert, nor am I like a huge fan. What I mean by that is, I'm not saying I hate the cars. It's just that I don't think I'll be able to afford one in this lifetime, and if I do, it's probably going to be one where it's broken and I definitely have to fix it up. And I probably would have a good experience, but I can't just go out and buy a brand new Porsche. I don't have Porsche money like that. But anyways, with that being said, it comes with a 2-liter turbocharged engine. It's also a flat 6. I heard if you call Porsche engines Boxster engines, because like basically they're same format as Subarus, like they kind of get offended by that. And I actually didn't realize that someone got offended. I'm just like, but aren't the engines both, you know, flat 4s, flat 6s? It makes about 300 horsepower. 0 to 100 is about 5 seconds, I would say, and that's with the PDK. Now, the transmission in this car, Porsche really does make a good PDK. It's very snappy, it's very fast, and it's one of those enthusiast cars where you want to drive it really fast. You want to press the buttons, go boom, 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 just like shift. It actually generally is fun, and I'm more of a manual butthurt. As you can see, I daily drive a manual car, and a lot of people wouldn't daily drive a manual car. They would be like, nope, sorry, manual driving is just not for me. I mean, I'll do it, but I'll do it like as a Sunday drive kind of thing. When I drove it, the foundations of a sports car was all there. The seating position was really good. Even though I'm a little bit of a bigger guy, I'm about 6 foot, 195 pounds. So, you know, even though I am kind of large for that car, it didn't feel so. The seating position was perfect. The tachometer was right dead in center, just like how this one is in the SI. Now, granted, today was a pretty nasty, muggy day. My car says it's 27 degrees, but it really feels like it's 40 degrees outside. There's been a heat wave, and on top of that, there's forest fire smoke. So it's just been really gross and muggy. So don't worry about me, guys. I'm staying hydrated and I'm keeping cool in this pretty hot weather. Now, back to the Porsche. Everything was there, and I could understand where people are coming from because I'm a car enthusiast and I love naturally aspirated cars, whether it be Hondas, whether it be Porsches. The principle is the same. Porsches are known for their flat 6s, just screaming. You know, you have the GT3 that revs to 9,000 RPM. I think that's the fuel cut. And you have other Porsches too, you know, that don't rev that high, but they still give you, you know, that enjoyment of naturally aspirated. Like you can basically press the gas with your toe. That's how instant the response is. You can't get that from a turbo car. And I think it's a pretty decent experience because nowadays every car is going turbocharged. That's sort of the thing to do. Small, compact 4-cylinder engines with a turbo. I'm just going to assume they're relatively easier to manufacture. Basically 1.5 liters and 2 liters. That seems to be like the common thing. And I heard nowadays they're going to 3 cylinders. There's 3-cylinder enthusiast cars. There's 3-cylinder SUVs, which I did make a video about a while back. I can see why people would be a little bit upset because, you know, it's a smaller engine, you know, how could they? But I don't really think it took away from the experience. It still had that classic Porsche sound, but not the sound that you're used to or that you know and expect. But it still remained that you had that classic Porsche sound to go with it. Fortunately, it's a little bit more muted because it is turbocharged. I didn't have a problem with the transmission. The transmission was fabulous, although I would have loved to try out the 6-speed. I did drive a Boxster S. I think it was the same thing, 718. I might be butchering that model, which is really bad. I do believe that was an S model, but that one had a 6-speed manual transmission, and oh my goodness, that transmission was a joy to use, even though I was just driving that car, I think not even 10 kilometers I drove that car. I barely drove the car. I didn't really push the car because it's not my car. It was a customer's car, and obviously you can't do that. Oh, there goes an Urus, in a nice color too. It's weird, like when it comes to cars, like I like all kinds of cars, like all weird kind of cars, even cars that my friends have like an active distaste. Now everyone's gonna slam their brakes because of the ambulance, but I don't think we had to stop. So air conditioning is getting too cold now. But anyways, it was a really dedicated enthusiast car. Like I felt like I was in control. The steering felt good. The brakes felt good despite it having, I guess, the lower tier brakes of Porsches, which Porsche's brakes, even like their normal ones on the Cayman, it's actually pretty good. And the foundation of the sports car is there. I definitely will say, if you have money, let's say if you're a car enthusiast and if you have money, and I mean, you know, obviously you can get yourself a nicer car, but if you have money, if you want to start getting into modifying, really driving the car, I think that car is definitely an excellent starting point. You can modify it, make the suspension better, you know, do a couple things for it to handle a little bit better. If you're a classic Porsche guy and you want to go with the flat 6, there are plenty of used options to go out there. And also you can try out the 996. The car's making a weird sound. I'm not sure if it's my car or the car next to me. So I kind of understand where people are saying the engine isn't that great. Jeez, this guy's like pressing his brakes. Does he not know how to coast or what? I hate people who drive like this in traffic. Like they would literally just go right up to the car and like slam on their brakes. Like they wouldn't even coast. I never understood that. You see, when I drive in traffic, I like to drive smooth. Like I like to coast along, you know, the least amount of stress, but you can never have that in the GTA. That will never happen. It's definitely not a bad car, and I was very surprised by how livable it was. Like I thought it was going to be compromised. It is compromised in its way, but if you were to go to like the grocery store, you know, there's plenty of room in the front. There's some room in the back. Like now I don't expect you, you know, to feed a family of 6 in this car. Obviously you're going to need like a 4-door sedan or you're going to need an SUV. But again, I was really surprised by how livable it was. Now for the engine, as a car enthusiast, I can definitely understand the need of a naturally aspirated engine, you know, the flat 6. I definitely thought that was missing, but I don't think it was missing so much that it was a detriment to the experience. That was just my opinion. Oh, looks like we got a little accident here. It's an accident or someone broke down. We just hit a little bit of traffic. Oh, there goes an Elantra. What do you think, guys? Should I rent this car? I was thinking about renting it and do a full review because a lot of people have been shit-talking Hyundais, especially people in my group, because we're pretty much like Honda and Toyota are the only like kind of cars in that class where you kind of want to fuck with, but no one really fucks with Hyundais. But I will definitely say Hyundais definitely have stepped up their game, and I definitely want to try out that car. Little VTEC for you guys, just a little bit. It was a pretty good car. It was hard to complain, but I can understand why people will say that. It's the same thing about Hondas. Look at me, for instance. I'm driving a K20 right now. Hondas are known for their, naturally aspirated cars. That's what they're known for. And they kind of strayed away from that. They're now turbocharged. Not saying that's bad, but it's just something that you kind of have to get used to. Better not come close to that Scion, who's probably gonna think I'm racing him. It was a pretty good experience, but again, it's like one of those things, when you're kind of talking about stuff on the internet, usually people have like their opinions and stuff, and sometimes a general opinion might be basically what people are saying, but you might be against the general opinion. And I think I'm one of those people for this time, because that car felt solid. Like it was an actual, Porsche. Because like when you talk about Porsches, let's say if you're not into cars, there's going to be people who are going to think, oh, Porsche. They're going to think, oh, it's a fancy SUV. But I would think 80 to 90% of the people, they're generally gonna say that when you hear Porsche, you're gonna think of the sports car, like a Carrera, a Cayman, a Boxster, a 911, something with two doors. That's what they're going to. That's what they're gonna think of. I thought that guy in the Scion was gonna race me, but it's some old guy, so it's all good. I love how I just made this light with little effort. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad car as people make it out to be, but it was definitely an experience. Unfortunately, I was going to get a little bit more footage during the day, but our schedules didn't line up. The person who rented the car was my best friend, and fortunately our schedules didn't line up, so I couldn't get you guys like a nice daytime review and a little walk around, because usually that's what I do when I have new car experiences. But the goal was to film every different car that I'm in. That's sort of a goal that I want to, and kind of give like my impressions on it. Is it bad to say I like guys who wear construction outfits? Is that weird to say? I don't know why, it's just something about it. I feel like this video is like off the rails. Why is there always a train? Okay, it's passing. I was about to say, like, this is the second time that I've been here that there was a train. Oh boy. Ooh. Alright guys, so that was sort of my little recap, my little impressions about that Porsche. And to answer the question, is the 2-liter as bad as people make it out to be? No, most modern cars, their engines are fine. It's just that car enthusiasts like to complain about stuff like that. That's usually how it is. All right, guys, that's a wrap, and I'll see you in the next one.